I always wanted to serve on a jury.
I'm really super excited. I really appreciate having me.
I want to give a big shout out to the 13th Jury Podcast and Brandi.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
And then I just looked at the jury, and it's sort of like, look.
Hey, if you
You are raised sunshine, and I love what you've done with your YouTube channel.
Hello, family. Hello. I feel like I have not seen y'all in so long. Hold on, let me get this set up. Hi. Hold on. There we go. I feel like I've not seen y'all in so long. It has been so long. And I am so excited to be here with y'all today. It has been 84 years roundabout. Look at us. We're right on the same page. We say that about the same time. I feel like it has been forever and ever since I've been able to hang out with y'all. And I'm really excited to be back. We have our trial starts on Monday, but we are starting our intro to it today because there's a lot on this one. There's a lot. There's so much happening with this one. So I figured since I have to start a little bit later now anyway, it'll take a little bit of time for us to get through some of this, but I wanted to do a kind of comprehensive intro into it to give y'all an idea about what all's going on. A lot has happened in this over since 2019, and it's finally just now going to trial, and this is expected to be a pretty long trial. So we all need to like buckle up and get ready because we're gonna be here a minute. I think it's supposed to last through until March. There are a couple things that we're going to cover in the meantime as well. There's a couple hearings and stuff like that. Of course, we're going to do the Murdoch hearing. That's how I got my start. And, obviously I'm very invested in that one. So there are going to be some other things that we're going to do kind of in between, but, and then play catch up. So we don't fret. This is going to be a long trial, but we are going to get into that stuff too. But this one's going to be a doozy. I have spent a lot of time the last couple of days getting stuff together so that all the 13 jurors can go into this, kind of having an idea of what's going on, because there's so much. Real quick, let me get all of these. Candace Hoff, member for 7 whole months. Happy anniversary. Oh, wait. I have that. Happy anniversary. Lynn, welcome to the family.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Yes, we did. Casey Bamagal, member for 3 whole months. Happy anniversary to you as well. Kelly P, happy anniversary to you for 6 whole months. And happy new year. Yes, I like your happy new year to you as well. Betsy Jean, member for 1 whole month. Happy anniversary to you. This is the first month of the rest of your life. Actually, I guess technically now it's the second month of the rest of your, you know what we mean. Weezer, member for 4 whole months. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you as well. C. Morales, happy anniversary to you. 7 whole months. So happy to be a part of this community. We are happy to have you. Hello, Jessica for Justice. Hello. Jackie D, member for 5 whole months. Hello to you and happy anniversary. Gailey May, member for 8 whole months. We got so many because I haven't been here in a couple weeks. Gailey May, happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Let's see. Jimmy Lawson, happy anniversary to you. Get all these out now because when I start going, I'm not going to be able to watch this because we have a lot to go over. So let's celebrate everybody together right now. We'll do one big cake. So happy to be back, and I do hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. We're getting there. Ticking right along. Nevia, I'm not going to try your last name. I haven't had enough caffeine today for it, but thanks for all you do. Member for 1 whole month. Happy anniversary to you. Kay Scarpetta. Hello. I live here now. You live here now. 4 months. Rent's due. Just joking. Happy anniversary to you. Alley Cat, member for 7 whole months. Missed you, Brandi. I missed you too. Happy anniversary to you. And Aaron Morgan, thank you for the super chat. Yay, it's finally family time. Love you all. Yay. I know. I feel like this is like a family reunion. Like we haven't got to see each other in so long. And now we're back and ready to do this. And what a crazy one to come back to. Like I said, today is Wednesday, of course. It doesn't actually start until, did I miss something? Oh, y'all were doing stuff before I even got going. Hold on, let me scroll up. Y'all were doing stuff before I even showed up. Jimmy Lawson gifted a membership. Thank you, Jimmy Lawson. It's too far now to see where it went to. I'm having to go back to this because I didn't realize while I was still getting stuff ready that y'all were being all active and whatnot. DinahDo420 gets 5 memberships. DinahDo420, thank you. Thank you. Sandra Oliver gets a membership. Thank you, Sandra Oliver. Okay, I think I've got... Oh, what did I just do? What did I just do? Hit the wrong button. Don't hit buttons, Brandi. Don't hit buttons, Brandi. And Lily's mom gets a membership. Thank you, Lily's mom. Thank you, everybody. Y'all, y'all are awesome. I'm so happy. Y'all really do give me energy. Being back here with y'all just gives me fuel to my soul. Pillows mom, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. So much to celebrate. 2024 is going to be an amazing, amazing year. Yes. And so quick medical update. I am when I finish my treatments, and like I said, like I'm not having to do chemo, so it's not going to be too bad. Like I'm going into this little predicament in a lot better situation than I went into this the first time, because the first time, I had very far progressed cancer and I was stage 3B, and there was a lot of stuff happening. Whatever has shown up on my PET scan this time is it's not the same as it was. So I did talk to my doctors again. And after I finish all the treatment stuff I have to do now, I am going to do another PET scan in March, and then I'll get the results for that. And the hope is, no, not the hope, the expectation. We're going to manifest it. The expectation is that the next PET scan will be, will look a lot better and will be clear and back to happy PET scans, nothing lighting up. So if not, then they'll do a biopsy and we'll go from there. But we're manifesting it. We're going to put it into the universe that these next couple months are going to, just be a little stepping stone to get me to my next clear scan. And then we can go back to being, normal-ish. I don't think I've ever been normal, but, but we're putting it out in the universe. It's going to be good. So, and I was glad to see the new year come, because one step closer to March and getting my next scan. I'm calling it. It's going to happen. All right. So I do appreciate all of the support in the meantime. I guess it kind of happened at a good time, because with it being the holidays, I was able to spend a lot of time with my family. My brother and my sister-in-law and my nieces and nephew have all been in town, and I've been able to spend some time with them. I've had a ton of doctor's appointments. So, I was able to get a lot of that stuff out of the way. Like more testing and stuff like that to get that stuff out of the way while we're not going through a trial. And it gave me some time to kind of rest and process everything and get my mind right before we get back to doing our daily thing. So, so it's been good. Normal is subjective. Yeah. Please show my tattoo on my shoulder. Oh, it says, this is slipping down a little bit. Let me not be a floozy on camera, draw the wrong crowd. She is clothed in strength and dignity, is what it says. It's just my little Taco Tuesday tattoo. I did get it on Taco Tuesday. All right, so let's get started with what we are doing. We have so much to go over with this. So what I've done is there's going to be some did I miss an anniversary? I thought I got all the ones that popped up. Did I miss one? Teresa Blake, been a member for 5 whole months. And Marilyn, been a member for 8 whole months. Happy anniversary to y'all. Sorry, I missed them when I was running my yapper. Happy anniversary to y'all. Woohoo! I am glad y'all are here. It really does give me, y'all give me energy and love, and I'm glad you're here. All right, so let's jump into this. This is a big one, y'all. This is going to be a big trial. This has been very high profile. There is a Lifetime movie about this. There's a Dateline episode. There's a 48 Hours episode. There's all the things. All the things. This has been very high profile. And I'm sure you've heard the names before. The Lifetime movie was called Gone Mom. And they called the media was kind of calling this the real life Gone Girl case. So yeah, I'm hearing we need a watch party. Yeah, there's so much stuff that we could watch actually on this. Like if we did a watch party on Discord, like we could watch the YouTube, or not the YouTube, the 48 Hours, or the Lifetime movie, or the I watched the Lifetime movie a long time ago, and I remember it being about their marriage. I cannot remember if Michelle was in it or not, the mistress. I honestly can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, and it was one of those things I had it on while I was like cleaning or doing something else, so I didn't pay like super close attention. But anyway, I can't remember if Michelle is in it or not. But it does. The Lifetime movie itself does go into some of the stuff about the Dulos, marriage, and about Jennifer's disappearance and stuff like that. Okay, she was in it. Okay, good. Because I don't, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, and I don't remember. And I don't want to be out here spreading false information, y'all. I'm going to give y'all some kind of background on this, and I've put together some stuff about the kind of what's led up to the past year, like some of the actual stuff about like who's who and what has led up to it. But some of the stuff that has happened since the arrest, I didn't go too much into detail with that on this part, because we're going to watch a lot of things on that. We're going to watch, interviews and hearings and stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff is more recent, and we can kind of go over that. And then tomorrow we're going to go over some of the court documents and stuff like that too, because those kind of get a little bit wild too. But for today, let me get this pulled up. For today, we are going to, let's see. Let me move myself. Oops, it still didn't do it. Do you know what today is? Now it's stuck in my head. Oh, let me add Lucy Cam, because she's sitting in her little spot now. Let me add her before we get going, because y'all know, I know y'all love some Lucy Cam. Plus, she's just so darn cute. I'll add her and then we'll get to go and get this show on the road. She's so funny. There she goes. Look at that little heifer. All right. Got it. Got it. All right. So this is this is exactly right, Aaron Morgan. Aaron Morgan knows me. I don't like to be spreading misinformation because I don't like to be wrong. I will double and triple check facts before I say stuff because I don't like to be wrong. I hate it when I'm wrong. I hate having to be like, I was wrong. Anywho, Aaron Morgan knows me. All right, so this is the who's who in our little world, our new world that we're about to live in for the next couple months. All right, so this is our beautiful, beautiful. Unfortunately, she's our victim, but she's stunningly beautiful. What is this? What is happening? Oh, her name is Jennifer Dulos, and this is her former husband. It was her estranged husband at the time. They were going through a divorce. This is Fotis Dulos. You will hear his name. I'm sure you've already heard his name a lot. And then this is our defendant. This one right here with the RBF is our defendant. So this is Michelle Troconis. So these are the three main names that you will be hearing. Now, of course, I have always made it a point here that we are victim centric. I want to focus on the victims. And one thing that I have decided to start doing in the new year is, I know a lot of times, like, we have, the big picture is of the defendant because that's whose trial we're watching. I don't want to do that. They're not that important. So one of my things you'll notice, I'm going to kind of do my thumbnails all different this year. I'm doing this thing up here to make them all a little bit easier to find, but also the big pictures from now on are going to be of the victim. And then we can put the defendant and whoever else, like the little, smaller part over here. I think I know it's just a very small thing, but I want it to be our thing. I want us to, even on the thumbnails, to honor the victims and not the defendants. All right. So that's our who's who. I don't know why this part's done as a video. Oops. Let's see. Oh, I guess did I do the whole thing as a video? I thought I just did it as a presentation. So now we're going to have like this little play thing on there. That's going to drive me nuts. Okay. I guess I should have paid closer attention. I was trying to do this. I'm out of practice. All right. So, this is Jennifer Farber Dulos. Now, she was born as Jennifer Farber, and she was born into like generational wealth. There's people with money, and then there's generational wealth. And oops. And she had generational wealth. Now, her aunt is actually Liz Claiborne, like the Liz Claiborne. And she's also the daughter of Hilliard Farber, who was a philanthropist. And he was also like a Wall Street, bigwig titan who became the youngest senior VP in the history of Chase Manhattan Bank. So she was born in New York City, and she's super, super smart. She graduated from Brown, and then she went on to get her master's in writing from NYU. So she's, comes from money, super smart, obviously stunningly beautiful. Just everybody that talks about her talks about, you know, what a big heart she has and how loving she was. And just seems like just a really good person in general. So while at Brown, she met this dude. This is Fotis Dulos. So he was born in Turkey and then he was raised in Athens, Greece. Now he moved to the States in like the late 80s and he graduated from Brown the year before Jennifer, but he also went on to get his master's in finance from Columbia Business School, I think. And then but here's the thing. So they met while at Brown. They met in college, but that wasn't like their happily ever after. He met somebody else. I think her name was Hillary, if I remember right. Don't quote me on that. I believe it was Hillary. But he met somebody else at Brown, and they ended up getting married. They stayed married for about 4 years, and he divorced or got divorced from his first wife in 2004. Now, that divorce was pretty smooth, you know, comparatively. They didn't have kids together, so there was no custody battles, anything like that. And he didn't come from money like, you know, like Jennifer did. So there wasn't, you know, this huge battle over, you know, money and all that. Like that first divorce went overall, you know, pretty smooth. It was like a no-fault divorce. No long drawn out bitter court battles over anything. But his communication and his reconnection with Jennifer did begin before his divorce was final. They actually got married just 1 month after his divorce to his first wife was final. So that same year in 2004 that he divorced his first wife and married Jennifer, he also founded 4 Group Inc., which is like a real estate development company that focuses on luxury homes in Connecticut, like right outside of New York City. So you'll hear people in the news and stuff talking about him being like a developer and stuff. That was his company. So they moved to Farmington, Connecticut, and they lived in this huge mansion. Like they had some dough on them. But from the outside, it seemed like they had a pretty, you know, great privileged type life. So they had 5 kids, including 2 sets of twins plus another daughter. Now, Jennifer, like I said, she went to school for, you know, she was a writer. She loved writing. So she had her own blog called 5 Makes 7, like 5 kids makes a family of 7, whatever. So that was her way of bringing in money, and it allowed her to be a stay-at-home mom. And, you know, she was able to stay home, but still, you know, write and do something that she loved, and kind of best of both worlds. Now, she, like the blog thing, you know, was really popular for a while. I know that there are still blogs, but this was, you know, before a lot of like the social media stuff came out. Like, you know, now people will make like TikToks, and what was the other one that was before TikTok? Vine and Instagram and stuff like that. But, you know, this was, her blog was actually like writing. It gave her a chance to, and if anybody that has ever been interested in writing or enjoys writing, like, you'll know, like, it's such a creative release. And so she was able to do that. And she actually had a few of her blogs seem to kind of insinuate that she was having like kind of behind the scenes issues and trouble maybe in her marriage, like as early as, oh my gosh, MySpace. Yes. Oh, I remember MySpace. I loved MySpace. You always knew where you stood with people in MySpace. So anyway, her blog, like, it kind of insinuated problems beforehand. Like even as early as, like, I think they said 2012 or something was like the first one that it was showing. Like she was kind of giving vague innuendos about things being troubled, but she didn't actually file for divorce until June of 2017. She actually took the kids and left and didn't tell Fotis until the next day she filed for divorce. So actually, after her disappearance, her friend, who's also a nanny, we'll hear about her later, her name is Lauren, she was interviewed and she told police about an incident where Fotis had tried to, like, I guess, run Jennifer over, and she had to move out of the way. And she was like crying and upset when she was telling Lauren about this. So she said that she also saw Fotis like chasing Jennifer around the house, and Jennifer had to like run in her room and lock herself in the room or something and like barricade herself in there. And it wasn't until Fotis realized that, I can't remember if it was multiple kids or one of the kids and Lauren were in the room. And that's kind of when he, was like, oh, they're seeing me act like a psychopath. Maybe I should calm myself down a little bit. So really kind of bad situation that Jennifer was in. We'll get into a little bit more of it later, but just to skip ahead, just to let y'all know, like, because of a lot of the stuff that happened, there's actually something called Jennifer's Law that was created. It was named after this Jennifer plus another Jennifer, and it has to do with domestic violence and domestic disputes, and also involving, it's in Connecticut, a new law in Connecticut, but it kind of broadened what's included in that to include like coercive control and that type of thing. So we'll talk about that more later, just because some of that stuff does come up as we're going through like some of the more recent stuff in the court documents and that type thing. But just to kind of give you an idea, like, things weren't hunky-dory in the Dulos home. So let's see what else. Now, when she left one day, and then the next day filed for divorce. So she also filed that day for emergency custody. And she said that Fotis had previously like threatened to kidnap their kids and take them overseas, because remember, he's born in Turkey and he was raised in Athens, Greece. And so he's got got ties to other places. So she was worried that he was going to take the kids and go and just kind of disappear with them. So she filed for emergency custody, and Fotis's response was basically that, none of the accusations that she's made about him and about being scared of him or him threatening her or anything like that were, valid or had any kind of merit to them. And he also said that her using antidepressants made her unfit to be the sole custodial parent. So this was kind of the beginning of like a 2-year long, bitter, hateful custody and divorce battle. And there were, I think they said, I haven't even looked through them. There's no way I could have looked through them all, because as much time as I spent getting all of this ready, that I've still got to get all the court documents together for us to go through some of that tomorrow. But I think they said there's like hundreds of motions that were filed to go back and forth with them going through their divorce. Now, in the court agreement, let's see. I don't know why this is doing this as a video, but whatever. In the court agreement, they did not grant her the emergency sole physical custody in the beginning. The court agreement was that Jennifer would move into her parents' house with them and the kids, and I think that was Poundridge, New York, or something like that. And she was going to enroll the kids in like a fancy private school in New Canaan, which she did, but she ended up moving out of her parents' house with the kids into this house. And this is a rental. She didn't buy it. She's going through divorce. Obviously, she can't really do all that. So she rented this house and moved in with the kids here. Now, this is, I think they said on one of the, I didn't Google map it, but I think it was either Dateline or 48 Hours or one of the news organizations. Somebody said it's about 70 miles away from where Fotis was living at the time. So the court proceedings were continuing to get very ugly. She said that she was worried because he bought a handgun and kept it in the house, and she was worried that he would use it on her or the kids. He denied that he had ever threatened her or the kids, and said that Jennifer's the one who moved the kids from the parents' house, which was what their agreement was, into the house that she's renting, and said that she wasn't telling him about the parental decisions. Like, I think she signed one of the kids up for hockey and changed one of the doctors or something like that. So there were different things that he was saying that she wasn't involving him on that he was supposed to be involved in. Both filed motions in court during this time too, saying that the other was like disparaging them. So Fotis said that Jennifer had called him a psychopath, who I think I actually just called him a psychopath too. Oops. Who didn't care about his kids and didn't, care enough to work for them and make money to support the family, which again, she came from a lot of money and he didn't. I think at this point, his company that he had founded had started struggling. So he said that Jennifer said that about him. Jennifer said that Fotis had called her an unfit mother. She should be locked away. Shouldn't have custody of the kids. And in the court documents, which again, that's going to come probably tomorrow. But in the court documents, there's even a part that says, and they showed part of this on I can't remember either the Dateline or the 48 Hours one too. But anyway, they showed part of this too, where in the court filing, she even says that her filing for divorce and filing this motion will, quote, enrage him. And she said that she knows he's going to try to retaliate, that he's going to try to retaliate in some type of way. So she was worried about him retaliating either against her or against the kids, something to hurt her in some way to get back at her. So now, while this is going on, in March of 2017, Jennifer also claimed in some of the court papers she had learned about Fotis being unfaithful for at least a year with our defendant. This is Michelle Troconis. So enter the defendant. Michelle was an international businesswoman. She had a young daughter. I think her daughter was around 12 at the time. She met Fotis and they both had a love of skiing and sports stuff. So I guess that in his mind gave him the right to be a big fat cheater and destroy the lives of his wife and 5 children. So that's where she comes in. So she knows about the affair and she mentions it in the court papers, but he had been having the affair for about a year, but it was a few months after she learned about it that she actually ended up filing for divorce. So in the beginning of 2018, Jennifer filed another emergency custody order, and the judge this time said that Fotis had broken numerous court orders. So he did grant sole physical custody to Jennifer at that time. I think, and again, I'll have to pull the court papers for tomorrow, so don't quote me on this, but I swear I remember reading one of them was that he wasn't supposed to have the murderous mistress. Let me not call her murderous mistress, innocent unless proven guilty. But I think one of the things was that he wasn't supposed to have the mistress around the kids. I believe that's one of the ones that was violated, but we'll go over some of those tomorrow to see, because some of that stuff gets wild, y'all. But I think that's one of the ones that was violated. So anywho, sole physical custody was granted to Jennifer in the beginning of 2018 with that the second emergency custody order. Now, joint legal custody was still in effect. So he was allowed monitored phone calls and supervised visitation. Also, the beginning of 2018, Jennifer's dad passed away. Now, remember I said he is the one who was the, Wall Street titan and all of that. So he passed away in early 2018. And at that time, her mom actually sued Fotis for a loan that he had apparently borrowed from them and did not pay back. It was like $1.7 million. Like, I think, I'm trying to remember if I ever borrowed money from my mother-in-law. I don't think I did. If I did, it may have been like, hey, you got $20, you know, till I get to my wallet or something. 1.7 million is, I mean, that's a lot. We're going to go over some more stuff about that too, like about, you know, them trying to, like, the family wanting Fotis out of the house and stuff because he wasn't paying. We're going to get into that. Some of that's more of the recent stuff. We're going to go over, we'll get to that, but this is kind of like the background stuff. So, but keep in mind, Jennifer came from, like I said, generational wealth, and Fotis didn't. So his company had started struggling, and he had a lot of debt. And the two things that are the most common, you know, motives when it comes to, you know, spousal murder is money and mistresses or misters, whatever. And, you know, he had both. He had a lot of debt and he had a little floozy on the side. So, now about a week before Jennifer went missing, Fotis lost another court. He had filed another court motion or whatever, and he was trying to get unsupervised visits, and it was denied again. So that was about a week before she went missing. So he was already kind of getting more and more frustrated, and things were kind of coming to a head at this point. And he had even called her. Now, Jennifer wasn't the one who did like the pickup and drop off for the kids and stuff like that. Like she didn't do that part, but he had even called her and asked her to bring the kids to him. And she was like, that's a no from me, dog. So that, and you know, good thing she didn't. So I think that was like the day before. Well, I have to pull those papers again, but we'll get into, you know, like I said, all the court papers later. But at this point, with the money problems and the, you know, all the court hearings and him getting denied stuff with the kids and, you know, the debt that he's in and now being sued by his mother-in-law, you know, to pay back the 1.7 million, which I think he ended up saying, he's like, oh, they gave it to me. That wasn't a loan, but whatever. Anyway, everything's kind of coming to a big boiling point at this rate. Now, on May 24th, 2019, here's the plans for the day. So this is the fancy school that the kids go to. Her plan is, you know, get up, you know, get the kids ready for school, drop them off at their hoity-toity country school, and then go home, get ready. She had 2 doctor's appointments in New York City, one at 11 a.m. and then one at 1 p.m. So she's seen on the neighbors' cameras arriving back home at 8:05 a.m. So after she dropped the kids off at school, but she never made it to the 2 doctor's appointments. So at about 7 o'clock, 2 of her friends reported her missing because they couldn't get in touch with her. So remember I said earlier, one of them was the nanny / friend that we were going to hear about again. She's one of the ones who had reported her missing. So one of the friends, the friend / nanny, Lauren, actually showed up to Jennifer's house at 11:30 and said that she wasn't there. So she saw that the Range Rover was there. Now, apparently Jennifer had a Range Rover and a Suburban. She said that when she got there, the Range Rover, I may have just said that wrong. The Range Rover was there. The Suburban was gone. So, but Jennifer wasn't there. And that was weird to her. She said that, you know, she knows that she has these doctor's appointments coming up in New York City, and who's going to drive a Suburban, you know, so a Suburban's like a boat, y'all. I don't know if any of y'all have ever tried parking a Suburban. I couldn't imagine parking one in New York City, or, you know, going down those narrow streets. And look, again, I'm not a city girl, so, and I hate driving anyway, so maybe, you know, that's just me. But anyway, Lauren also said the same thing. Like, she knows her friend. She knows that she would not have taken that big old boat to New York City for her appointments. So, officers, you know, they call the police. Officers start searching, trying to figure out what's going on. Now, they do find the Suburban near Waveney Park. So this is, you can see like just kind of like an overview, the map. It's huge. But they find it near Waveney Park. So this huge search begins, and they're canvassing the area. They're talking to people. They have canines, the whole thing. I think there was like, they were checking, you know, at some point they were checking like bodies of water, a cornfield, everything they could think to check. They're stopping cars. They're showing flyers, all of that. Now, this is only a few miles away from Jennifer's house that she was living in, the rental home. So detectives go to the rental home to kind of check things out, see what's happening there. And that's when everything kind of takes a turn. So they get to the rental home, and they can see in the garage, there's blood spatter on the door. There's blood spatter on the floor of the garage, on the exterior of the car that was still in the garage, and on the faucet. There was blood, not spatter, but blood on the faucet that was inside the house. I see some of y'all, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I see some of y'all commenting and stuff. I'll get everything at the end. I can't stop what I'm doing to do it, because I won't be able to get back on track. So I have to try to stay on track to get through this, but I'll go through and acknowledge the stuff at the end. I promise. I can't stop to do it, because I'll get off track and I'll lose my train of thought. I'm really bad about that. And I don't have my medicine. So I'm like taking everything to focus. Anywho, all right. So faucet in the house had blood on it, blood spatter all in the garage and stuff like that, even like under the car that was still in the garage. So there was kind of like the theory that if there's blood spatter that's even like going up on the other car, that there's, you know, probably like blunt force trauma, like, you know, when she first got attacked, and then more, you know, as she was on the ground or whatever. So they're kind of starting to like piece together what they think happened. And it gets, of course, scary. Now, the blood on the faucet will turn out to be a mixture of Jennifer's DNA and Fotis's. And he also left his DNA on the door handle. But of course, in the beginning, you don't know whose it is, like it's going to be tested and all that. So they don't have all that information yet, but they're still going to talk to Fotis, and he's going to be a person of interest to speak to, of course, because, you know, especially with them going through such a bad, you know, such a bad divorce and everything's so contentious and all that. There's so many problems. So of course he's going to be one of the ones that they talk to. So they bring him in to question him about things. Now, they ask to see his phone, and they get his passcode, and they do a download of his phone, and he does ask to get it back, I think. But by then, you know, they've done the download. They have, you know, kind of some of the information that they need. So they track his location and his movements to see where he was and what he was up to. How many of y'all have seen that show? What's it called? See No Evil. Who's seen See No Evil? Isn't that what it's called? Where it's like where they solve all the stuff by camera footage. I think that's what it's called. I think it's on like, I don't know, A&E or something. You can watch it on Hulu. It is such a good show. It's so interesting. I love watching how they'll, you know, like use pieces of video footage to solve these, you know, horrific crimes and stuff. This whole part, all of this stuff that happens from here on out and how they kind of put these things together reminds me of that show of See No Evil, because they have even to the point, well, you'll see it in a minute. I have a screenshot of it, but even pulling footage from a school bus that happens to catch because school buses have like the cameras on them. A school bus that happens to catch a car on the side of the road and stuff like the video footage that they put together is really how this ends up all coming together and getting solved. So the whole trial becomes just following cameras. Now the Suburban that was missing when we said ain't nobody gonna take a Suburban to New York City. The Suburban was missing, right? So it was seen on camera by the neighbor's camera or whatever, leaving at 10:25 that morning. So that's like almost 2.5 hours after she arrived home from dropping the kids off. So the police believe that it was Fotis who was driving the Suburban, and they end up using his cell phone location to find out like the general areas that he was in that day and evening. Now his phone did not show him in like at her house during that time, but we'll get to more of that in a little bit. And that's a whole nother twist that happens. But his phone didn't show him there at that time, but they do believe that it was him that was driving the Suburban when it left the house. Now, they were able to find his location later in the day and track some of that. So they found him along, I think it was called like Albany Avenue, I believe is what it is. I'll have to look at my notes. Albany Avenue in Hartford, Connecticut, I think is what it is. So anyway, they contact Capital City Command Center. This is what you see right here is Capital City Command Center. It looks like every NASA movie that you ever see where there's all the is it NASA? I don't know what it is. Like all the movies, where they have the huge walls of all the cameras and stuff. That's what it looks kind of like Hunger Games, actually, too, now that I think about it. But anyway, regardless, it looks like that. There are so many cameras, but this is Capital City Command Center. There's like 700 cameras in Hartford that they follow along in this area, and they are able to follow his moves based on all of these cameras. So this guy is not really a smart cookie. He's like all up on all their video surveillance. So here's what we know about the camera footage timeline. I said there was a school bus. So this is the school bus. You can see the camera, in the school bus. It captures on the side of the road a red Tacoma truck, and that's at 7:57 a.m. So that's about the time the kids are being dropped off at school, right? So this is 7:57 a.m. The location that it was is only about 100 feet from where they ended up finding the Suburban. So this red truck is parked about the time the kids are getting dropped off at school, is parked on the side of the road near where her Suburban ends up being found later. Okay, so they believe that this Tacoma truck belongs to one of Fotis's employees, and they think that he drove this to Connecticut the day that she disappeared. And I think I remember reading too, like they don't think he had permission to do it. This was not like, hey, can I, borrow your truck to go murder my estranged wife? I'll bring it back with a full tank of gas. Like it wasn't one of those things. Like the employee had no idea what was happening. Now in one video, they're actually also able to see a bike tire in the back of the truck. So this helps them to kind of further their theory and figure out what's going on. So they say that they think that he biked the 3 miles from where the truck was parked to her house, and then waited on her to get home from dropping the kids off at school, and then attacked her in the garage. He then, they think, cleaned up the scene and obviously didn't do a good enough job because they found his DNA on the doorknob and on the kitchen faucet. But he was there for 2 hours and 20 minutes ish from the time she got there before he was seen leaving. So they think that, he attacked her, tried to clean everything up. And there was evidence in there too, where you could see that, there was an attempt to clean up. It wasn't just like blood everywhere. There were, you could tell it had been like wiped and mopped and that type thing. So the Suburban is seen leaving on the neighbor's cameras, like I said, about 10:25. They believe that Fotis was driving and that Jennifer was already either dead or, unconscious or whatever, in the back of the Suburban. They said he then drove the Suburban to Wavenly Park, swapped her body over from the Suburban to the Tacoma that belonged to his employee. And I think, if I remember right, I think that there was like 40 minutes or something that he was like in the area. And then the truck is seen on camera going back north where Fotis lives. Like that's, the 70 miles back up north or whatever. So, things start getting crazy. The surveillance continues. A few days later, the police get a video from the same day of the disappearance where Fotis is seen driving the Tacoma to a car wash, and Michelle, our defendant, is following behind him. Like you can see, this is the Tacoma, and she's driving her Yukon behind him. And he takes it to be detailed. This is surveillance video from inside the car wash place where he takes it and drops it off to be detailed. So they also pull camera footage from his bank because he didn't pay with card here. Of course, he doesn't want to pay with card. He's trying to leave, the truck's not in his name. This is his employee's truck. He doesn't want to pay with his card because then that, relates him back to this. So he pays with cash. Well, they pull video of his bank and they have video of him getting cash out of the ATM so that he can then go to the place, drop it off, drop the Tacoma off to be detailed. And then he gets in the car with Michelle, who has followed him there. They did detail the Tacoma, but there were still traces of Jennifer's DNA left on the passenger seat of the Tacoma. So we do know that she was transferred from the Suburban into the Tacoma at some point. So the video surveillance continues. And this is where things get even crazier. I don't know if y'all watched Kathy, Gossip Rumor and Innuendo. I don't know if y'all watched her video this morning when she's talking about this part of it. It's hilarious. If you haven't watched it, you need to. She's so funny. And I agree with her. One of the things that that they found on this footage is that they see, now this is, you can see he's not in the Tacoma anymore. This is his truck. And he's going down Hartford Avenue, dumping trash bags into all of these bins. Now, there ends up being 30 bins total. 30. I have never in my life gone to 30 different trash cans to dump stuff out, but what do I know? I'm not a psycho murderer, but 30 total. So here's what's weird, and here's what was funny in Kathy's video too when she pointed this out. Michelle is in the truck with him. This is not him just going along, like seeing, let me find my favorite trash can in Hartford, Connecticut. No, like he's getting rid of evidence. And Michelle is in there with him. This is where everything gets really complicated because Michelle's side of the story is she didn't know what he was dumping. It was just trash bags. Now, her DNA is on it too, I believe, if I remember right. But she said that it was because he told her to move a bag or something. I swear there was coffee that was, I'll have to go back. It's been a minute since I read that part, but there was something about, I think she said that he said that coffee was spilled and she had to wipe it up, but it wasn't coffee on that rag or whatever. We'll get into that part because that's some of the stuff that's coming up in the interviews. But and we're gonna watch those. But anywho, the total that he went to is more than or I think it was like 30 bins total. So Michelle can be seen leaning out of the truck at one point, and it looks like she's either picking something up off the ground or I'm assuming she wouldn't be placing something on the ground. It's hard to kind of see, but she can be seen in the passenger seat of the truck as he's going around to these 30 bins. Now, one thing that was really funny too, Kathy was saying in her video, like, how is she not going to ask questions? Because she was like, I didn't know what he was doing. And Kathy was like, how do you not ask questions? I would ask questions. Me too. I am not a ride or die, no questions asked. I got questions. If we're going to, if we're spending our time going around to 30 different trash cans instead of like dropping everything at the dump, I'm going to have questions about that. That's not a normal, that's not just a normal stroll on a Sunday. That's weird. Who would not question that? But she said that she didn't know. She was just, had no idea what was in those bags. So whatever. We did find out what was in those bags though. So they were able to go get the trash out of some of them. Some of the trash had already been picked up and taken to the dump. They actually did a huge search of the dump as well with like canines and, like a bunch of people. Oh gosh. And this is like, early summer, late spring-ish, so that could you imagine the smell? Anywho, they had a big old stanky search at the dump too, and they went and got the bags out of the trash cans that it was still there. So of the things that they found, blood-stained cleaning items, they found sponges, I think they found mops or a mop, zip ties, 2 ponchos that were covered in Jennifer's blood. There was clothing in Jennifer's size that was found, including a Vinnie Vines shirt. Vineyard Vines. Oh God, look at me and my Murdoch trauma. It's called Vineyard Vines, but Blanca called it Vinnie Vines, and now I'll never be able to call it anything else other than that. So they clothing in her size, including the Vineyard Vines shirt. The blood that was on there was Jennifer's, and there's also gloves that were in there that had Fotis's DNA inside of the gloves. So this is a really crappy, cover-up job. Now, there was also video of him, like the storm drains that have like the grates on there. There was video that they found of him shoving like a FedEx box down the storm drain grate, and they were able to go recover that too. So it had license plates, I think there were 2 of them if I remember right, of cars that had been registered to Fotis before, and the license plate numbers were like altered with tape to look like other tag numbers. So the idea would be that he, so that nobody could run the license plate, he used an old license plate, made it look like a different number. So if it was caught on video, it would not come back to him or to anybody else that could be linked to him. And then he wanted to get rid of those, so he put them down the storm drain. But of course, they recovered them, and when they took the tape off of them and actually run the real license plate phone numbers, or not phone numbers, real license plate numbers, they come back to cars that had been registered to him. Super sloppy. So on June 1st of 2019, Fotis and Michelle are arrested at a hotel in Connecticut. At this point, it's not a homicide investigation. So all they can charge them with is tampering with evidence and hindering prosecution. There's not enough for murder or anything else like that yet. So since there was no direct evidence against them for murder, both of them were able to bond out of jail. And they ended up getting rearrested in January of 2020 and charged with capital murder and kidnapping. And Fotis was charged with capital murder and kidnapping. And Michelle was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. And of course, they still had like the tampering with evidence and hindering investigation charges. Now, at the same time that, let me introduce you to our next twist and turn. This fella. So at the same time that that they were locked up, Fotis's former attorney, now this is not his criminal attorney, this is an attorney who had represented him in a civil suit. His name is Kent Mahoney, and he was also detained that same day and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. So this is Kent. So let's talk about Kent for a minute. So he was estranged from his wife. They had had a lot of issues. He had been accused of sexually assaulting her and disorderly conduct, I think is one of the charges. He ended up getting arrested again for violating a protection order that she had in place against him after that. And she actually went to the police and said that she feared that Fotis and Kent were working together to kill her. Now, this is not Jennifer. This is his wife. So like these two, toxic buddies are now in cahoots to get rid of both of their wives, allegedly, which is wild. It gets worse. So after Jennifer went missing, there was a shallow grave that was found at this hunting club. It's called Windsor Rod and Gun, I think is what it's, Windsor Rod and Gun Club or something like that. But it's kind of this secluded hunting area that Kent owned. He helped to he's one of the founders of the hunting club. So he had founded this club, but he wasn't really a part of it anymore. So he, I guess, had gone, but his cell phone records, because cell phones tell on you every time, his cell phone records showed his location being at that hunting club. Now, like I said, he founded the club, but he left. Now, he was told, he had called a couple guys who were still there, and he was asking them hey, I don't know how to get in anymore, whatever. He was told about a hidden key. And when it was realized later that Kent was actually tied to, allegedly tied to Jennifer's disappearance, the hunters who had found that grave, shallow grave, actually called police and told them. The grave also had a blue tarp, and it had limes in it. Now, the lime is I don't know if any of y'all, there's not a whole lot of trials that I can think of that we've covered that had lime, but we've seen it in, you've seen it in movies and TV shows and stuff like that, that people will try to dissolve bodies quicker, and it helps with the smell, get the smell gone quicker and all of that with lime. Lime. I said limes. Droopy, I did say limes, didn't I? Look. Focusing as much as I can without my medicine. Not limes. Limes don't do any good. Limes. I have margaritas on the mind. Anywho, lost my train of thought. Okay, so anyhow, but he had lime in the shallow grave and a blue tarp. Now, once they figured out that he was potentially connected to this case, that's when they called and called police and they were able to come, you know, look at that and see. Now they did bring dogs out there and stuff too, like cadaver dogs and stuff. There was no trace of a body that had been there. So, and again, like, you know, we don't even know if, like, it was on his property and it shows that he was at that property, but we don't even know for sure if, you know, if he was the one who was responsible for it. It's just one of those things that is very coincidental, but I really don't believe in a lot of coincidence when it comes to stuff like this. So now Kent was also accused of creating a fake alibi for Fotis. And like, just to fast forward a little bit with him, in October of I guess now it's not last year. In October of 2022, he was taken back into custody for messing with his ankle monitor. Because remember, he's got charges with, you know, with this, plus charges with his wife at the time. So he was taken back into custody for messing with his ankle monitor. They set him like a crazy expensive bond. It was like over $1 million. Like, I think it was like $1.5, $2 million, something like that. He couldn't pay that, but he did get a reduction at the end of the year. I think it's like around December-ish. He got a bond reduction and was able to bond out. And he was on house arrest until May of last year, 2023. And he is able to, like, he's not on house arrest anymore. He's able to leave his home. The house arrest ended in May, but he is still wearing the ankle monitor. Like, he is still he's still all up in it. All right, so that's him. Now, January 8th, Fotis was released on a $6 million, January 8th of 2020. Fotis was released on a $6 million bond. Now, keep in mind, he ain't got money like that. He owes his in-laws money, but he was released on a $6 million bond. He's still married, even though it was you know, they were going through divorce and everything was terrible. He was still married and had access to money and stuff that he shouldn't have. So he was released on a $6 million bond and was due. Oh, actually, before I get to that part, let me tell you about this guy while I've got him up. A lot of craziness happened. I'm about to get to what happened with Fotis, but in between, we're going to watch some of this, but a lot of craziness happened in between the time of arrest and what I'm about to go over. But we're going to watch video clips of a lot of stuff. So I don't want to spoil too much about the cast of characters, because when you see this guy in action, you're going to be like, what the heck? He's one of those that it just doesn't seem like it could be like we're actually watching real stuff. So, anyway, basically, this is the attorney who was representing Fotis, and he is the one who was claiming basically that this is a real life Gone Girl situation. He's arguing that since there's no body and no murder weapon, he believes that Jennifer had just vanished and was trying to frame him, like in the movie Gone Girl, was trying to frame Fotis for murder. So he's really trying to convince people that she would just up and ditch her kids and, you know, have like all of this bloody evidence and his DNA to disappear, and all just to get back at him. Which is stupid. And like, nobody in their right mind would believe that, but you know, whatever. Gone Girl didn't have, you know, 5 kids and all that, but anyway, he says it's like a real life Gone Girl. Also, in the meantime, Michelle and Fotis had split up. The mistress was no more. So they split up, and part of their court papers were that they weren't allowed to have contact with each other. So they split up. Her family helped her move out. And so Fotis, in true narcissist fashion, cannot be alone. So he found him another girl, moved her on in, on to the next. There's an interview in May of 2020 where Michelle basically says that it was a mistake to trust Fotis, but she, says like, yeah, he turns out he's, not a good guy, whatever, but I didn't have anything to do with anything. I don't know of anything. So, and we're going to watch some of this guy in action, and you'll see what's Lucy's snoring again. All right. So now we get to Fotis. January 8th, 2020 is when he was released on the $6 million bond. Now, he was due back in court the following month. I think it was around February. I don't know, February something. I can't remember. He was due back in court in February. Now, at this point, he's out on bond, and the courts decide to set up an emergency bond hearing for January 28th. So instead of him having to come back in February, they tell him to come in for the emergency bond hearing January 28th, just 3 weeks after his release on bond, because of they wanted to go over violations of his house arrest orders. Now, to me, that means come on in because we're going to lock you up. But, I guess maybe that's what he understood it to mean too, because he wrote a note saying that he did not want to spend even one more hour in jail for something that he didn't do. So he ended up taking a vacuum hose and put it in his car and wanted to take his own life with carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, one thing to note here too is, remember I told you that he had the new girl living with him. She was home that morning, and they were originally supposed to be driving to the courthouse together. And then he said that he wanted them to drive separate instead. So she took off to the courthouse, thought that he was coming to or whatever. His attorney actually called her on the way when she was on the way to the courthouse and was like, where's your dude at? And she said, he's on the way or he should be there, whatever. Well, they had his GPS tracker and they could see that he was still at home. So they sent police out there. And when they got there, that's when they found him in the garage and he was unresponsive. So he wasn't dead yet. They did take him to the hospital and then ended up taking him to another hospital. They had him on life support, and they even tried to do, have you ever heard of hyperbaric oxygen therapy? They were going to do that. I had to do it too I'm about to have to do it again. But it's basically like you're breathing 100% pure oxygen and you're in like this hyperbaric chamber. So they have them to where you can do, they have them where you can do like the single one and it looks like you're in like a pod thing, or they have them where you can do them as a group and it looks like you're in a submarine. But it basically, the air pressure inside is raised to a level that's like crazy high. And the increased air pressure in the chamber helps your lungs to breathe in more oxygen, and you're breathing in 100% pure oxygen. So it ends up being like, I can't remember, my doctor said it was like 400 times something, or anyway, it's basically like people will use it a lot of times to try to heal cells, heal wounds, that type thing. I used it for radiation damage. I have so much radiation damage inside my body and so many things. I've had like more than 30 surgeries. So I have where they've had to try to rebuild me because so much stuff was messed up. So I did hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help with radiation burns and all of the damage that was done inside my body. And it can do a lot of good. They were hoping that it would do something for him, but it didn't. They ended up taking him off life support. They let the kids go in, I guess, and, you know, say their goodbyes or whatever. But they, I think it was like 2 days. He made it for about 2 days before he actually was taken off life support and passed away then. So, so it did not do anything for him. Now, this is from her interview, and we're going to watch some of these. She gets, it did help me some. It did not do everything, but again, I'm kind of a weird case. Like I've had 2 different oncologists, my one in Ohio and my one here, tell me that I've got more damage than they've ever seen on anybody else from. I'm just a walking science project. So it did help, but my body is so far gone that I'm never going to be normal again. But a lot of people have good results from it. So the Michelle interviews. We're going to watch these. So I don't want to go over too much of them because then it's just going to be like, I'm just going to be repeating the same things that we're going to watch. But, they talked to her about where she was and, what was going on that day. She has this whole alibi that was like written out. I mean, things get kind of crazy with her. And like I said, I don't want to go too much into it because it'll ruin it for when we watch all of this together and go over some of the court documents and find out some of the stuff, because all of the like twists and turns and all of the crazy stuff that I've gone over is only kind of the start of it. It gets a little wild. Now, we're also going to watch some of the interviews with that attorney that I showed you earlier, because he does something I've never seen before in my life either. Now, one thing about her interviews, though, real quick while we're here, she said that she went to lunch with Fotis, and then they went to like clean one of his properties for a meeting or something. I think it was like a client meeting or something. And after that's when they dropped the Tacoma off to be detailed. But she has this moment in her, and we're going to watch it, like I said, but she has this moment where she's like crying and like waving her hands and stuff. And she's like, I'll do anything. I'll spend a month with you. Wanting to convince them that she didn't have anything to do with it. And she's telling them that, she, like I said, was like, they were going along and he was putting trash in the stuff, but she didn't know it was in it. And she comes up with the thing about how her DNA is on some of those bags because of the, I think it was like he told her that he'd spilled coffee or something. It's been a while since I've watched them. So when we watch them, I'll be seeing a lot of it, a lot of stuff that I've already forgotten. So anyhow, she gets really upset. Now, here's what, while we're watching this stuff and while we're going through all of this stuff and watching it, here's the things that I really kind of want to consider. Do you think that she wasn't there based on what we can tell from the videos and stuff like that. She wasn't there when it happened. And one of her charges is conspiracy to commit murder. And then of course the not jury tampering. Oh God, again, with the Murdoch trauma, tampering with evidence and hindering a prosecution. So I guess what my biggest question is, and what the jury's biggest question is going to be, is did she know about the murder and have a part in it? And a lot of evidence is going to come out and a lot of things that haven't been released yet. And we're going to hear a lot of things. So that'll be really interesting to see. But do you think that she had, and if they're charging her with conspiracy, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that we see that she does have enough, especially with some of the alibi stuff. Anyway, we're going to see some stuff. But there's also going to be a lot of stuff that we haven't even seen yet. So the biggest thing that the jury, I think, is going to have to decide when it comes to that, it's like, did she have something to do with like the evidence tampering and the cleaning everything up afterwards and trying to help him, create the alibi and doing all that stuff? Or did she have something to do with it before? Now, there's the thing I mentioned earlier about how his cell phone was not at the at Jennifer's house at the time that she disappeared or whatever. Remember I said that wasn't his cell phone wasn't showing there, and I said that would be a whole nother story. The reason why I am leaning towards she had knowledge about what was happening is because of his phone and how do I say this? If you know that they're going to possibly track your phone, okay, look at, oh gosh, I keep going back to Murdoch. Remember how he said he left his phone at the house? There was no activity on it or whatever, and they said that looked suspicious, or like we've seen that before, like where or Zachariah Anderson, they said there were periods of time where one of his phones had no activity on it, and they said that that's suspicious because all of the other times there was a lot of activity on it, right? Lucy, she's not sitting very ladylike. Sorry, I apologize for her. She's not very ladylike today. Anywho, when you leave your phone and there's no activity on it, that can look suspicious if they're looking at it overall and you're always on your phone, and then there's this one block of time where something crazy happens and you happen to not be on your phone at all during that time, but then you pick right back up with normal phone activity afterwards, that can look suspicious. So with Fotis's phone and the location of it and an answered phone call and stuff like that, there is an idea that, or a theory, I guess, that she was helping him along with the attorney to, set up the alibi, and that's how, a lot of how they got her into the actual conspiracy part of it. So, it's crazy stuff. There's also other stuff that's happened too, and we'll watch some of the hearings and stuff. Cause like I said, I've got to start later the next few days because of doctor stuff in the morning, so we're going to be doing shorter streams, but we'll be able to get this in the next few days. But there's been other stuff too. There was the attorney. We're going to watch an interview with him too. He said that aside from the Gone Girl nonsense, one of the other theories was that someone, if it wasn't her, Jennifer, trying to frame him, that someone else tried to frame him and murdered Jennifer and then just dumped, bags of bloody clothes on Fotis's porch, and that Fotis then was like, oh, well, now I have to go to 30 different trash cans and throw this away. That was another one of the theories. There's also been a lot of stuff that's happened since then. Like Michelle tried to get the trial moved to different locations, saying that, they're just trying to break her down by having this trial so far away from her family, so she doesn't have any support. And also because of the, jury pool being, potentially impacted because there's been so much publicity on it. What else? There was a motion to suppress that was filed, where they're wanting certain evidence thrown out of the case, including like cell phone data. Of course, they want the cell phone data thrown out. Attorneys are going to want anything that looks bad against their client thrown out. But they're saying that the cell phone data and the search warrant for the home, anything that was found there, they wanted that thrown out because they said that the search warrant was too broad. Remember we talked about in the last trial that we did, we talked about they had the two different search warrants, remember, because they did the first one thinking that, this was where the second one they went in and ripped up the carpet and stuff, because he said, the first one, it was like just a, place of interest. They were looking for stuff. And the second one, this now became, potentially a murder scene. So it's a whole different type of warrant. You don't get on a search warrant. It's not like, oh, hey, here's a search warrant for, this house, go do your thing. And you get to just go do whatever you want and tear everything up until you find something. That's not how search warrants work. So they're saying that the defense is saying that this search warrant that they did on the house was too broad, and that because nothing actually happened in the house, there was no reason for it to be searched anyway, because the attack wasn't done there, etc. So they were wanting all of that stuff thrown out. There's also a lot of interviews with Michelle, or sorry, not Michelle, but Michelle's family. I think one of them's like her sister or something. But where I think it was like 48 Hours or Dateline or one of those. But there was interviews with them saying, like, they're saying like, she would never do this, this isn't this isn't who she is, whatever. So and I do feel bad for the families too, because, if she is guilty of it, they're not going to want to, like, how bad would that hurt knowing that your family had done something, somebody that you love so dearly had done something so terrible. So, I do feel bad for the family, but anyway, so we're going to watch some of the stuff. I would like to pull these. Let me do, gosh, Lucy. She is like, she's looking real inappropriate. Let me pull some of the interviews with, let's watch those. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, here, let's do her arraignment first. We'll watch a couple things. This is here. This is pretty short. We'll watch a couple things, and I'm gonna, while I've got this on, I'm gonna pull. This is her arraignment.
Michelle Troconis, counsel, identify yourself as the record, please.
Richard Colangelo for the state, Your Honor.
Andrew. Good afternoon, ma'am. I know we have met before, and I know you've previously been advised of your legal rights, but due to the nature and circumstances of the new charges, I'm going to re-advise you. You do have the right to remain silent concerning these charges, and the statements you make could potentially be used against you in court. You have the right to stop answering questions at any time and have an attorney present with you during questions. You have the right to plead not guilty to these charges and right to trial in front of a judge or a jury. You have the right to a public and speedy trial, and at a trial you may confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you, summon witnesses testifying on your behalf, and offer any defenses you may have. In any criminal trial, the state's burden to prove you guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. You are entitled to be represented by counsel. This is a full appearance, Jim.
Yes.
No. And you do have competent counsel. If you have any questions about your constitutional rights, you should bring them up at this time or speak to your lawyer. You should also be advised that you're not an American citizen, that conviction for this offense could carry consequences, deportation, exclusion from admission in the United States, or denial of naturalization, all pursuant to federal immigration law. As a person held in custody, you are entitled to reasonable bail set by the court. You're currently on GPS monitoring through the state, and I do know you have been compliant with that monitoring. Good afternoon, Madam Bail Commissioner. What else can I do?
The defendant is 45 years old. She lived in Connecticut for 2 years and 6 months.
It's quiet.
She reports that she is supported by her family and she has 15 years of education. She does have the 2 pending matters out of this court that come back January 31st. The first matter is for tampering with evidence. She posted a $100,000 surety bond. The second matter is for tampering with physical evidence and hindering prosecution first. She posted a $500,000 surety bond. She has no convictions on her record. I would recommend a $1 million bond with a condition of GPS, that she do not leave the state of Connecticut without permission, that she have no contact with the victim's family, the co-defendant, and or his relatives and friends.
Judge, in looking at this matter, I believe the bond is set by the court at $2 million is appropriate. If the defendant is to make that bond, I'd ask that you do the GPS IPS with house arrest, only to leave for things that the court deems appropriate, with that no contact with co-defendants or Mr. Dulos' family.
Your Honor, I have filed a motion for reduction of bond.
Yes, you may be heard.
And I would ask that the court set the bond at $500,000. That would be a total of $1.1 million. She has never failed to make an appearance. She's in full compliance with all the conditions of the court. She is charged with conspiracy. She had no benefit from the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos. I would ask the court to set the bond at $500,000.
Well, the defendant has been compliant with the conditions of release. The warrants indicate some level of cooperation with the authority level, and she has been compliant. As I said, there's been no GPS changes. She continues to charge the rights appropriately, no issues according to the officer on probation. Therefore, the court will set bond at $1.5 million for the defendant with the condition of house arrest. The only exception will be for medical appointments, church services, and meetings with defense counsel. No contact with the co-defendant. She already is on that, so that would
We need to reorder, Judge. When she came into corrections, they cut off any GPS
All right,
monitoring.
well, that has to be reinstalled, and thank you for letting me know that. So, your new bracelet, but with the more restrictive parameters.
IPS as well.
IPS, GPS.
Counsel and I discussed February 7th in Part A for her next court date. I'd ask Your Honor to order her other case continued from the 31st to the 7th also, please.
Right, these are proceedings, when the package moves, so is that right, agreement, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
So ordered, so ordered, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the arraignment. Let me pull up, first of all, before I pull up the next stuff, let me go over the stuff that I missed. I'm sorry that I missed anything, but y'all, I am out of my medication. I have not had a chance to go pick it up. I'm hopefully going to pick it up today if they have it. They were out of it before. So if I know that if I stopped to read stuff, to read comments, I would have gotten distracted and would not have been able to make it through the stuff we need to go through. And we would have ended up on field trips and tangents. So I'm sorry that I haven't looked at chat at all, but I really couldn't. Dino 420 gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. That's the second time you've done that today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And Candace Hoff gifted membership. Thank you so much. Our mods are the best. Thank you so much. Y'all are awesome. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me pull. Let's see what I'm pull the next one.
finding a reputable business should...
Too loud. Too loud.
And then he walked and he brought...
There's, I'm going to have to try, oops. I'm going to have to try to find it. This is only...
He gave me a piece of paper over the toilet, a paper towel, and I put it inside where I had the bag of cleaning, what I was cleaning, the house.
Okay, did you see spilled coffee?
No, I didn't see that.
Did you see a coffee cup?
No, because I didn't look inside the car.
Did the paper towel smell like coffee?
No, I didn't smell
Well,
it.
always still, you're holding that coffee stinks.
But I hold the paper towel, but I didn't.
So she's saying, this is the part, remember when I told y'all that she's saying that it was spilled coffee and her DNA was on there because of spilled coffee. And he's saying, he's like, okay, but it didn't smell like, you know, coffee or look like coffee. She's trying to explain her DNA being on some of that stuff that was put in the trash bins by saying that she only used it because she was wiping up, she only used paper towels or whatever it was because she was wiping up spilled
Smell
coffee.
it, I didn't see the...
But even still, you didn't smell coffee.
No.
You know how coffee is when you smell it, it stinks.
Yeah.
Smell it a mile away.
It's true. Yeah.
At National Forest.
Yeah, it's true. No kidding. So that was one of the things. It was like, how much truth was to that? All right, let's look at this too. This is some of the video from, oh my gosh, that's so loud. So loud. The videos from where they're going along and stopping at the, you can see him stopping and getting out at the 30 different trash bins and putting different parts of, or different bags in different bins. This is some of the video from that. So he puts one right here and then he walks this over to the other. That's crazy to me. I don't know why they can't regulate the sound with no commercial, with the commercials either. It's so much louder. So different. Albany Avenue surveillance during the, so here's, shh. Here's more of the surveillance video. These are really nice cameras. Think about how many cameras we've seen. This is where you can see her reaching out. Think about how many cameras we've seen. Looks like she picked something up. Where the quality is not very good. This is good quality video footage right here. All these different cameras. I think they said like 700 different cameras. 700 different cameras. They're good quality. All right, let's look. Let me find it. I should have saved the all the videos, but I was busy doing all the research. Okay, let's see.
DA is trying to have suppressed.
All right, this is suppression's hearing stuff. Hold on, let me get to the.
Who is involved in the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos, and who and where Jennifer Dulos is right now. We know you know. And we just want you to come clean and tell us everything that you know.
Lawyers continuing to dive into interviews.
Thank you, Jen. May I place a link to my brother's music site for my 8-month anniversary at the end of the show? Early access. He's going to be a Broadway star. He's going to be a Broadway star. That's exciting. You can try. I don't think YouTube allows the links to show up. Sorry, Luce, just scare you. But you can try. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Let me get to. Oh, wait, not that.
I do not know anything about that. They interrupt her throughout that, so it blurs the sound, so you can't even hear that.
Do you know where she is, and can you please tell us, or at least leave us all right now? I don't know, but and then we can worry about the other stuff later, because right now we need to find Jennifer. Okay, I don't know, but can we see what you got? Yes. Yeah, perfect.
Attorney John Schoenhorn is prepared to argue state conspiracy to commit murder charge against Troconis and shouldn't make it to the full trial.
To mislead a judge of the Superior Court to sign an arrest warrant that should never have been signed.
This is the warrant I was talking about. Oh, I'm getting tired. Sorry. I'm trying not to yawn. The stuff just wears me out a little bit. All right, let's see. A lot of these are what we're going over tomorrow. I have to do a little bit shorter days today, tomorrow, and Friday, just because with doctor stuff in the morning, and then it really wears me out. And this trial is going to be a lot. A lot in a good way, though. Let's see. But tomorrow we're going to watch most of the videos, but there was a couple of them I wanted to show today before we. Let's do this one. This is part of what played in.
I told you I love you, but I can walk the whole world with you if you want. I can take you.
This is where she's crying.
Like a motor place. I can walk. I can spend a month with you guys. I can do whatever you want, but I didn't do it.
So she's saying, I didn't do it. I can walk the world for you, whatever you want, and all that. She's kind of panicking and doesn't want to, she's wanting to convince them that she doesn't have anything to do with it.
This is Pavel's truck. Did you ever hear of something called luminol?
Luminol is the blood stuff. We know that.
Luminol is something we use to look at evidence, to see if blood was somewhere. When it hits the blood, it illuminates. That's all that.
That's blood.
And where do you think that belongs to? Who do you think that belongs to?
Jennifer.
So if you know stuff that you're not telling us,
No, I don't
that's
know.
the man you're protecting, because that's some
I'm not
sick shit.
protecting him. I'm not protecting him.
Okay.
I said, and I really don't want to see him ever again in my life.
This
Do
is
you know
Michelle.
more, yes or no? And if you do, give us that answer and then start telling us. If not, I think we're all set.
Okay.
From the beginning, when he started to think about this, everything.
No, that I don't know.
Do you know more, yes or no?
No. I have no idea what happened to Jennifer. I have no idea where Jennifer is.
Let's do a poll. just based on, because obviously we haven't seen it all, but just going into this, based on just the intro of what we've seen, do you think Michelle knew beforehand? No. All right. I am going to where'd my wrong tab. For tomorrow, because we're going to be, I think what we're going to do is tomorrow go over watch a lot, because there's a lot of like the I want to watch the interviews. I want to watch the like some of the court proceedings and stuff like that, and kind of, what are you doing? And kind of go over the timeline and like the different motions that have been filed, the different arguments they've had in court so far, so that we kind of know what to expect when we start on Monday. They've already got the jury seated. They did that, I think, in like October or something. So the actual trial will start Monday. But like I said, I've got to do a little bit shorter days right now, just because I'm still trying to keep up and catch up. So we're not going to go into too much more today, but tomorrow we're going to watch, plus I've spent so much time researching this and getting all of it together the last couple of days, so I'm exhausted anyway. We are going to watch some of the court stuff tomorrow. I want to watch the interviews, and I think Friday we'll go over some of the actual court documents. I want to look at some of the divorce stuff too, and just there's hundreds and hundreds of motions that they filed in that. So we're not gonna be able to go through all of it, but I just want to pull some of this stuff on there and just see, you know, kind of how bad it really was. I did do a video that I recorded. I'm going to release it kind of like as a premiere. I wanted to do this like kind of how this is, where we could chat and talk, and you know, I could reconnect with y'all, because I haven't got to see you in a few weeks. But I did do a video. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to release it as like a premiere, maybe over the weekend, so that anybody who doesn't have time to or hasn't been able to watch everything with us, like watch the live today, tomorrow, and Friday, we'll be able to just watch it and catch up on it. And because there's so much, sometimes it helps to have a little bit, you know, to hear it twice. So a lot of the pictures and stuff that I just showed you are part of what I put together for that video. So you'll see, I'll probably release it maybe Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, something like that. That way, and I'm going to do it as a premiere so that the chat will be open. We can all watch it together. I just won't be live. I'll be live in the chat. I'm just not going to be live on the actual, like, you won't see me on the screen live. You'll see like the recorded me. But we'll all be able to chat together. I think it kind of helps too, because there is so much of this, and because I have to break it up into short streams the next few days, so it's going to be kind of choppy. I think having the premiere video on Sunday will kind of give us, like, you know, a little refresher course and get us ready for Monday. I am still not positive. This is a Connecticut case, so it's East Coast. I believe I might be starting a little bit late because I'll be at the doctor's, but I will know more about that Friday, and I can let y'all know for sure what the schedule is on Friday. So we'll go over stuff then. But I'm going to get together I'm going to take a nap right now. I'm taking a nap right now. But when I wake up, I'm going to get together the playlist. I have a bunch of stuff saved, but they're not in order. So I'm going to get together our playlist so that we can watch the stuff that we're going to watch tomorrow, and then and continue on with this. So it'll be interesting, but right now, and I know like this is just, we've been doing this for 2 hours. So this is like the first 2 hour introduction that you really have of some of this, like for some of those of you who don't know everything. What I'm really excited for you to see though is, you can tell I didn't take my medicine. Let me finish that sentence first. I've already lost it. Anyway, what I'm excited for y'all to see too, that I told you that the cast of characters tend to be a little bit interesting. Wait until you see, tomorrow we're going to go through like a lot and watch a lot of the videos. Wait until you see his attorney, y'all. Wait until you see his attorney. He actually even filed after he was after Fotis was dead. His attorney, who is quite the character, said that he wanted to continue on with the trial. Now, if there's no defendant, it's kind of hard to continue on with the trial, but he wanted to continue on with the trial, and he wanted to replace the defendant with the defendant's estate. And his reasoning for this, he said, was to clear the name, clear Fotis's name. It's stuff that, like, if it were in a movie, you wouldn't believe that it was actually happening. So, craziness. So we're going to watch a lot of that tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be, today was like kind of like the background information into it. And tomorrow is going to be getting to know a lot of the people involved. Now, the attorney that I was just talking about was Fotis's attorney. Of course, he's not the attorney for the trial that we're watching, but he's got too much stuff to watch on him that, that we can't miss out on. It's a mess, y'all. Cameron's Ohio, member for 8 whole months. Take care of yourself, Brandi. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Happy anniversary. And Nikki, I love you all so much. Love you, Brandi. I love you too. Happy anniversary to you too. Thank you. Let me see, since I have to go rest and take a nap so that I can wake up and finish doing this. Oh, Dino Kelly. Randolph should go on tomorrow morning, 9 Pacific, but who knows? He hasn't even attempted a phone call since the 27th. Wow. Oh, let me write that down. I'm so tired right now. I might forget it. Let me write that down. 9 Pacific. Fami. I thought, because I had him on for the 4th, but I thought that he wasn't going to because of his crazy handwritten bazillion page motion, but that'll be interesting. We'll of course watch that too, if because even if I have to, even with treatment stuff in the morning, that'll be 9 Pacific is 11 my time, so I'll be home by then. So that'll be interesting. Oh, Thami. Thami. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I was going to see if anybody is live. Is Ari live? I can rate him. Let's see. It feels so good to be back with y'all, but man, I am still so tired. That's okay. We're gonna get it. Edit, customize, redirect. Oh, he's going live at 2:30. Okay. I'll send this over there. All right. I'm going to redirect to RA's stream. So that way everybody can still hang out, chat, talk, and then and hang out with RA and see him. I am going to go get some rest and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And I'm really glad to be back with y'all today. And welcome. I see some new faces in here too. I know the first part of today, or most of today, I didn't really get to interact with chat too much. But like I said, if I got distracted, I would have not made it back, and we never would have gotten everything accomplished. It would have been nothing but field trips of the mind. All right, y'all. I appreciate you being here. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to do 11 o'clock tomorrow too. And oh, Jessica's doing a live. Oh, I didn't see it on there. I will. I'll go pick up my medicine after I wake up. All right, y'all. I'm going to pour you over. I will see you tomorrow at 11 Central. So, be there, be square, get ready to celebrate. And I'll have that stream set up in just a few minutes. I think I already have most of it ready. So I'll get that set up before I take my nap. So that way you can hit notify me on there. So that way you don't miss it. And I will see y'all tomorrow.